Hi everyone, welcome to Prologue. I'm your host Cheryl, and today we're going to talk about something that every mom, new or seasoned, deserves to hear. So we always talk about the confinement period, and that's of course your 30-40 days after giving birth. But what happens after that? When the soups dry up and it no longer comes, when your confinement nanny leaves, what should you do? So we have Dr. Odelia here. Dr. Odelia is a mom of 2 young children, and she can share with us a little bit about the post-confinement period, which is kind of neglected a lot. So Dr. Odelia, tell us a little bit about the confinement phase and your own experience.
Okay, well, thanks for having me here today. So I think this is the topic that is actually very close to my heart because going through it myself and also hearing my friends and other relatives go through it, you do have an idea that a lot of times there are many challenges that a lot of these moms face alone. But in actual fact, there's a lot of help out there. So when you talk about the confinement period, you rightly pointed out, traditionally it's the first month, and in the Asian culture, there are a lot of different traditional practices that come about during this period of time. And in general, the principles are right. They want the mom to rest, they want the mom to recover, and to get her health back. So this thing is also known as the postpartum period, which is the period after delivery. And generally, this period is defined about 12 weeks. Though we do know that the body takes a lot longer than that to recover, to go back to its postpartum state. And that being said, there are many different factors going on at the same time. For example, sleep deprivation, new things, new challenges, new baby, new routine. So you do need to give yourself some time to slowly recover and to go back to how things are. And in many cases, you're not the same, and you are not the same after delivery. You are a new person, but in a way, you are a better person. Yeah, so if you're looking at this period, you want to break it down into 2 big segments. 1, what to look out for yourself, and also number 2, the baby and those around you.
So earlier on, we were chatting before the podcast, the postpartum period, like we define it as 30 days, but is that really enough for a body to recover? And some people even define it longer, right? So what is actually a good, what do you do after the nanny leaves?
The definition of postpartum usually is about 12 weeks after delivery, and in certain cases, you can extend it to half a year or even further, depending on how your body is doing and whether there were certain things that have arisen from the previous pregnancy state. So things that you watch out for, number 1, is that your body needs to heal and to recover, because your body has carried a baby for 9 months.
Exactly.
The delivery process isn't the most smooth one, and most of the time some patients have episiotomy wounds or even C-section wounds, and these take time to heal. At the same time, a lot of times your body is facing sleep deprivation. You may feel stressed about different things that are ongoing. You also may not be eating as well as you hope, and you don't really know what to expect for a lot of the cases. So certain times you may feel certain anxieties or certain mood issues, which are normal and part of the process. So number 1, you need to try and get as much rest as possible, eat well, make sure that you get the support that you have, and talk about various issues that you may face, and to get help early along the way. And that will help you in terms of your recovery process, and that also determines how the journey is and how long the journey will take.
So it looks like there's a lot of various aspects that one can look out for. What can a mother, I guess, handle on her own versus seeing a healthcare provider?
Okay, so that's a very good question, because after delivery, you are on your own. You do have help, but you have to make decisions for your own body. So number 1, sleep is an issue that it might be a little bit difficult to tackle, because you do have to feed the baby 2 to 3 hourly through the night, or even more often. So things you can look at things that are within your control. So number 1, the type of food that you eat, the type of things that you drink, how you want to manage your stress, how to make a meaningful social connection, and how to move your body and get some sunshine and some exercise to help you feel better as well. So if you do have a nanny or you do have some confinement services, so number 1, nutritious food is most important. There are various ways and various practices, the Chinese practice or other Asian practices, about certain foods that are good and not so good for your body. But in general, number 1, we want to look at something that is nourishing for your body, something that's protein rich, nutrient dense, and whole foods, less processed. So I like to go back to basic principles. Number 1, to look at the healthy plate concept again. Half vegetables, fruits, 1/4 will be that of protein and 1/4 of that of whole grains. Fruits and vegetables are really important because they give you the vitamins, the minerals, and the nutrition to recover from the any postpartum issues, and whether you have any fatigue or iron deficiency arising from it. So that's very important. Whole grains and carbohydrates are also very important because you need energy for various processes, and if you're breastfeeding, you do need more calories on top of what is the usual requirements. And protein is also very important. Protein helps with the healing process, so you can look at poultry, meat, fishes, tofu, soybean products, all are good for protein.
And say common issues that a new mother would face, for instance, like low milk supply or maybe a lack of sleep. Like, is there any particular advice you would give?
Okay, so these are very common issues, and most of the time there isn't like a one fit solution to most of these things that you brought up. So number one, if you're talking about milk supply, so get help early if you find that there are certain issues in terms of like latching. You get a lactation consultant or even see a nurse or doctor for it, or you can prepare your body for it. So number one, for your body to be able to produce more milk, you need to be able to ensure that you have enough like fluids, hydration, or you can ensure that the type of food that you eat are nutritious, make sure that you have enough calcium, vitamin D, try and get some glasses of milk if possible. And in terms of increasing the supply, you can consider things like regular nursing, feeding, pumping to try and stimulate your body to produce more milk. And a lot of time, the increase is not linear. The first few days, the expectations would be that the supply is not very high. It only kicks in only a few days later. And so moms don't have to worry. The baby also doesn't need so much in the beginning also. So you can give them nurse on demand, watch for the hunger cues, and to just make sure that they're well hydrated. You can look at their energy level, their wet diapers, and also if they're falling out for jaundice, one indication will be how the jaundice levels are going.
Okay, so if they have jaundice, is likely an indicator of...
Oh, so jaundice is quite a common thing, especially for Asian babies. So most of the time, the way to clear the jaundice is hydration. So as long as they have good hydration, they're well fed, right? Then they are naturally able to pass out the yellowing pigment through their stools and their urine. So hydration.
I see. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of information that you're giving us, Dr. Odelia, and I think the support is very important because new moms sometimes feel that they're alone or if they have no nanny or no help, it could be very overwhelming. Is there, any tips that you have to give, maybe also from your personal experience?
Yes, so that period of time was definitely very challenging because you can read about everything in the textbook, you can prepare all that you want, but when real life happens, it's very different. And also, the baby is very different, so you can't really predict how they will actually respond. Everyone is different, and plus you're sleep deprived, and also there are many different hormonal changes that's happening at the same time. So you can feel that emotions go up, go down, and it's normal. In fact, this thing called postpartum blues is actually quite common, more common than you actually know. So majority of moms actually do go through this period. It's usually characterized by certain periods of irritability, mood swings, and usually arises during the first few days after delivery. It may peak 1 or 2 days after that, but it should resolve within 2 weeks. So during that time, try and get support. If you can speak to someone that you trust, your friends, your family, or even your nanny, they might even be able to give you certain tips to help you feel better along the way. And don't keep everything within yourself. Sometimes by talking, you may never know. Other friends or other people that you know are going through the same thing, and they can offer help and advice along the way.
Okay, and I think like to husbands, do you have any advice for, I think postpartum blues is very common, and I think it is very common, just that a lot of times moms just, I guess they bear the burden. What can the husbands do?
So that's a very good question. And number one, I think just be present for your wife. So if they are tired, if you feel that they are moody, just give them some space to air their feelings and what their thoughts, and just give them a channel, a safe space to be able to share with you how they are feeling and what they are going through. A non-judgmental, caring environment, that will be very helpful for them. Because a lot of time, moms know that they need to do certain things, but they do feel emotions as well because they are humans as well. So they do need someone to just listen to them, and maybe by talking out how they're feeling and how they're doing, that gives them certain clarity and also motivation to move on in the right direction. So for that, number one, I think ask. I think for moms also, new moms, tell your husband what to help with, because a lot of time they are also new to it, so they don't know what to do. So then just be direct with your request, like, I need you to help change the baby's like diapers or help do certain feeds during the night. Then I think that might be helpful for dads as well. And at the end of time, I think this is a trying period for everyone. So just be gracious to each other. If certain things happen, then just talk about it, forgive each other and move on.
That's nice. I think everyone is a mom and a dad for the first time actually. So we are in it together. But when is it perhaps like a time that you should visit a healthcare provider? Like, are there certain signs or something that one should look out for?
Okay. So in particular, if you're talking about mood issues, so number one, if you feel that safety is one aspect that you are unsure about, for example, any like harm to self, harm to baby, then that's one thing that you need to seek medical attention earlier. Or you find that it's affecting your function very significantly, you feel very disconnected with everything, hopelessness, and you find that all these feelings last for a more prolonged period. So usually most moms who have postpartum blues, they do get better after a few days. Their functioning is okay, their relationship with like the babies and everyone is okay, and it doesn't last very long. So if you notice that it's something, you feel that it's something out of your control, safety is an issue, it's getting a little bit longer than what you expect, then probably it's a good idea to just sound out, get certain help, get certain advice to make sure that everything is okay. Because even if it's not anything very significant, getting help early and intervening early always helps.
So I'm just wondering, like, there are regular checks that you would do during your pregnancy, and how about post-pregnancy? Like, are there checkpoints and milestones that one should actually visit their primary care healthcare provider?
So absolutely right. So usually there's a 6 to 8 week visit.
Okay.
So sometimes if there are certain issues arising from the birth, you may have like a 1 week visit after that. But generally a 6 week visit to your healthcare provider will be helpful, because there are few things at that point in time that the healthcare provider can help, and also for new moms to also ask and also move on in terms of planning for various issues. Generally it usually start off with like a conversation about how the mom is doing, how they're adapting to their life with a newborn baby, stresses, etc. Then we usually dive into some gynecological issues or obstetric issues. So number one, if there are any issues arising, medical issues arising from the pregnancy, for example, gestational diabetes, that would be a good time to do the test again, or high blood pressure, so to see whether there are any changes that needs to be addressed. Other issues that they can talk together with their healthcare providers, talk about family planning, and also do cervical cancer screening. So those are the things that the doctor will actually do during that visit. Importantly, they will also check how your body is healing. So for example, if there was an episiotomy scar, they may check over the perineum area to make sure everything is healing well, whether there are any other medical issues like incontinence or constipation or even hemorrhoids or piles. So those are the things that a doctor would help with, and it's helpful to just do a check-in at the 6 week mark.
Okay, and after that, is there any next milestone that we should look out for? Given that we are talking about, how the postpartum period is much longer.
So usually they usually don't give another follow-up in terms of postpartum visits. So it very much depends on how the consult went for that time and whether there are any issues arising from it. If not, generally, usually the next check will be the well women's check. So for example, if you have any like screenings that need to be done or any other female issues, then that will be the next time that you need to check in, or for even general health screening.
So we spoke about postpartum blues, but I think it's a little bit different from postpartum depression.
Oh,
right?
yes.
How would you define the both?
So number one, I'll look at the severity of the symptoms and whether the duration of the symptoms as well. So most of the time, postpartum blues can occur to quite a few ladies, but most of the time they are able to get out of it in a short period of time of usually 1 or 2 weeks. It tends to happen early on during the postpartum period, a few days after delivery, peaks a few days after that, and resolves about 2 weeks. It does not affect their function, and generally they're able to get on with their daily activities. Postpartum depression, on the other hand, tend to be more severe. It can occur later on, maybe from month 3 to 6 onwards, but it also can occur earlier on if the stresses are a lot, or if the mom has other mental health issues before that. The diagnosis of actually postpartum depression and clinical depression is the same. But most importantly is we want to check about the severity of symptoms and the safety of mom and baby. So those are indications that you do need to seek help early, whether with your primary care provider, your gynecologist, or even a psychiatrist or psychologist to help further with that. There are other kinds of postpartum issues, for example, postpartum anxiety or postpartum psychosis, and those also warrant early intervention.
Okay, so I guess if it's lasting too long and you know something's not right, then that's when you could perhaps seek a little bit of help.
Correct, yes.
Okay, and sometimes a lot of these, I guess, feelings of depression and down, feeling down and all that, it's a lot to do with like body confidence as well, because the body does go through a lot.
Yep.
Hair loss, body changes and all. Like, is there anything that you could advise new mums?
So that is very true, because when after giving birth, your whole body is new. And then on top of the stresses of looking after a newborn baby and sleep deprivation, then you have other issues like hair loss, which is something that you've never experienced before. And even logically, you know that it will get better with time. It is quite hard when actually you're in the thick of things. So if you look at hair loss in particular, it's very, very common for a lot of young mums. There is this condition called telogen effluvium. It is related to the post-pregnancy status. So how it works is that our hair is actually in 3 states. So during this postpartum period, after this period of stress and delivery, a lot of hair tends to fall during this period. Moms may experience this during the first to even 5th month, and that will be the time where they may experience a lot of hair loss, and the hair loss tends to be diffuse. So when they're combing their hair or just running their fingers through their hair, they'll notice that there's a lot of hair that's coming off.
And it could be very scary.
It can be very scary because most of the time we have not experienced before. But number one, reassuringly, that there is an end in sight. So most of the time by 1 to 1.5 years old, when the baby's around that time, the hair growth will come back normally. Also try and make sure that you are not deficient in certain nutrition. For vitamin D, iron, all these can cause hair loss. And finally also, there are certain conditions like some thyroid issues also can happen postpartum. So if you do notice that the hair fall is very excessive, you find that it's not recovering, or if you see a doctor and then they tell you that there's no baby hair growth, or other symptoms, for example thyroid symptoms, or you may not have a very balanced meal, then you may want to screen for other nutritional deficiencies.
Okay. How about just about body as well? Because I think weight is one that is a very sensitive topic, especially for women.
Yes.
Is there anything that you could advise them?
So I think number one, just to make sure that your body is healthy, you have to give yourself some time to go back to how it was, or even what is your new normal. Make sure that your health is good. So make sure that all the other like markers like cholesterol, sugar, high blood are all in check, and to give your body some time to heal. It is a balance in terms of weight loss and trying to be there for your baby, heal your body, eating the right foods, and even to make sure that you're producing enough breast milk. So moms are kind of caught in this conundrum. They want to lose weight, but at the same time, their body does need more energy. So I would say in the initial few months, at least if you're really feeling very tired and overwhelmed, focus on keeping your body healthy. Weight loss is secondary, but you do have to make sure that you're eating right. So if you are hungry, choose the right kind of snacks. You can choose certain ways that you can make your body feel fuller. For example, take more fiber, take more vegetables, choose a healthier snack like not processed foods. You can choose things like fruits, nuts, raisins. All these are good options as compared to other kinds of more processed snacks. So the return to a normal, healthy weight can be gradual. It varies with everyone, each individual. But this is a process that takes time, and you have to listen to your body also. Safety and health is first and foremost.
Yes, agree. So safety and health, and don't compare, I guess, with yourself with another, because everybody is different.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I'm curious, Dr. Odelia, what about your own journey? You are a mom of 2 children. What was your experience like?
Wow, that's a very big question, and I think both journeys were similar but different. And there were some lessons that I learned from the first time that made the second journey easier, but the second time also had its new challenges. I think one thing I learned from the first time would be that most of the struggles that you face, right, other ladies also face the same thing, so you're really not alone. From like breastfeeding issues to like being sleep deprived or being very frustrated and emotional about things, we realize that actually everyone goes through the same issues. Maybe one example would be that of like maybe my breastfeeding journey. So I think during the first time, I wasn't really very aware of where to ask or get help. So usually I'll just talk to my friends, and then they'll just give you different kind of advice. And also at that time, your friends are also new in this whole motherhood thing, so the type of advice that they give is a bit different. So I did hear about other options like seeing like a lactation consultant, but I wasn't really very open to it at that point in time because it's a new idea and there were so many things happening at that point in time. Then at the point in time, we were also told that, like breast is best. So you really wanted to do it. And all the theory that you learn about regular pumping, etc., whatever, latching, everything, it is very different when you practice it in real life. Yeah, so for my first one, in the end, I exclusively pumped for her in the end. And that worked for us, and I think in the end we were both happy. For the second one, I talked to other friends again. I think by then all of us have gained a little bit more experience. And I had some advice about, okay, if you had issues latching, right, then you just see a lactation consultant, and they did recommend like a few that they know. So in that case, I did see help early, and it really helped the journey. Then I did manage to like breastfeed and latch him for more months. Even though the overall duration was shorter, because with 2 kids, it's very hard to keep like solely breastfeeding all the time. So you do allow mixed feeding, so give and take. So you do learn things along the way. Yeah,
I think breastfeeding is sometimes quite stressful because of the pressure that you have. People tell you that you have to, and then you're not producing and you can't do anything about it. So I think most importantly is that you know that you're not alone. Other mums do face the same issues. And okay, thanks for sharing. Is there any perhaps from your own experience, anything you would like to share to new moms who are facing this for the first time, perhaps?
Definitely, there are a lot of things that we can learn about it. When you are in the thick of postpartum, motherhood, newborn days, everything can be a blur and everything can be rather overwhelming. So I think the first thing one suggestion would be just to pause. Pause to remind yourself, right, that you are a good mom and you're doing your best and you're the best mom for your baby. So I think that's most important, because sometimes you just forget about the important things, and you may feel that I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough for it. Number 2, also look after yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. The whole idea of self-care, I think it's great that in the last few years there's more talk about it, because if you're dry, you're frustrated, you can't love well. So you have to heal yourself first. You have to make sure that your cup is filled. And certain simple ways, number 1, make sure that you choose the right foods to eat so you have enough energy and you feel good. If you're not sure what to do, go out, take a walk, some sunshine. Physical activities will also help with your mood. Some fresh air will always do you some good. And I think finally, to make good social connections, to know that you're not alone, to reach out for help, to speak up early. And then you can find a community of support out there to make this journey not so alone.
Thanks, Dr. Odelia, for sharing, especially the personal stories that you have shared. And remember, we can't pour from an empty cup. I think that's really important. And also remember that postpartum doesn't end at 30 days. There's a lot more care that you can do for yourself after that. So at Prologue, we believe that healthcare deserves a new narrative. If you found this episode useful, or if you think that someone would benefit from this episode, feel free to like, share this episode with them. That's all we have for you for today's episode of the Prologue to Wellness podcast, and we'll see you at the next episode. Till then, take care and be well.